Hello traders and welcome to another video review. Today is Tuesday, June 16th, 2026. Let's take a look what do we have in the economic calendar for today. So what do we have here? Let me just switch to the high important data releases here in our calendar. So we can see we have any high important data releases. Well, there was a bunch of data from China. So let's take a look at the Chinese data as well. So what do we have here? First, China, plenty of data. I think there's plenty of data. Fixed asset investments down, deteriorates, minus 1.6, previous number minus 4.1. Current actual number. Industrial production up from 4.1 to 4.5, beats the expectation of 4.4. Unemployment rate down from 5.2 to 5.1. Now, Bank of Japan interest rate decision, as expected, hike to 1% from 0.75. Reserve Bank of Australia interest rate decision. RBA decided to leave the interest rate at the level of 4.35%. Press conference and rate statement were done. Turkish retail sales data are scheduled for release at 9 o'clock. German Bundesbank will give a speech at 10 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, we got data from the Germany. Economic sentiment and current conditions are scheduled for release. Wages in Eurozone and economic sentiment are scheduled for release at 11 o'clock as well. And then we switch to the US session. And we have the data related to the building and houses, building permits, export price index, housing starts, import price index. All of this data are scheduled for release at 2:30. From Canada, we got Virgin Securities purchases at 2:30, scheduled for release as well. ECB line will give a speech at 3:10. Atlanta Fed GDP now is scheduled for release at 6 o'clock. Global Daily Trade Pass Index is scheduled for release at 5 o'clock. This data is from the New Zealand. 20-year bond auction from the USA is scheduled for release at 7 o'clock. At 10:30 we got weekly crude oil stock data release, and at the end of the day at 11 o'clock we got Westpac consumer sentiment data from New Zealand. So that's about the Tuesday. Very important data releases already been done over the night. We got 2 interest rate decisions. So plenty of changes should be on the chart. So let's take a look what is going on the charts. We start with euro dollar. So the euro dollar now looks like it almost touches the trend line 1.1622, and then as you can see bearish sandwich here and reversal on 4-hour time frame chart. So we will change this color 1.1578, this level, to green to see whether this will act as the technical support. Nevertheless, the momentum fall from the level of 63 down to the level of 50. So to be or not to be for the bulls is here at this level. If you speak about the euro dollar, please remember in the background there is still a downtrend. Cable moves up towards 1.3457 and reverses lower. It doesn't respect this area here, as you can see, whatsoever. So right now we are just below the level of 50 on our side, just below the 1.3408. So still bearish pressure is quite visible here on the 4-hour time frame chart. Not much of volatility here on the cable whatsoever. Nevertheless, still ease of move is to the downside on cable. US dollar versus the Japanese yen, despite the fact that we got the interest rate decision from Japan, it looks like the dips are being bought a little bit during this down pullbacks, as you can see. Nevertheless, in order to move higher, we need to switch. We need to move above this zone here, the red zone, the supply zone. So we need to pass 161 and then go higher. With that kind of the momentum, that might not be very easy. If we break below 159.66, the outlook becomes a little bit more bearish in the short term. All right, so please keep an eye on this level. Looks like this situation here might be still in favor of bulls. However, they need more momentum to break through. Gold, very nice pullback from the lows of 4,000, local high 4,368. Now we are moving a little bit lower. Maybe we will fill the gap at one day. This trend line seems to be quite interesting here. Let me just find out what's going on, whether this is the possible, maybe it looks like this is the possible reason for for the trend line, for the price to reverse. Shooting star here on a 4-hour time frame chart, and then the reversal comes a little bit of the pullback, consolidation, and maybe spike to the downside to fill the gap. Retail gap is next. Quite good scenario for me. It looks like this bearish flag might be completed. Nevertheless, the lows of $4,023 were actually quite deep. Look at this. We went, as I said, we went down to continue wave Y. As I said, ABC to the downside wave W, connector wave X. There's only wave Y missing. Basically, this wave Y might be completed here because we are below the lows of the wave W. So this whole complex and time-consuming structure might be done here. But there is no confirmation. Confirmation from the technical point of view comes with a breakout above wave X high, which is 4,889. All right, so for now, whatever happens here, it can still be continuation of a complex correction in wave Y, or another correction, connector like X, or something like this. So please stay focused. Looks good. Very nice reversal here, supported by the RSI, but that's still not enough. S&P 500. Back above the supply zone. So these days, I just might have this point of view a little bit changed here, because this area here will now act as the demand as well as it was before. So right now I would change the color to the green. So we got the support now. This is useless. That doesn't actually do anything. Possibly this might be a little bit helpful. This level here, 7,597. Nevertheless, with this kind of the momentum, this kind of the movement to the upside, we are possibly waiting for another swing high, all-time high, and yearly high on S&P 500. Very big rebound, very big movement to the upside. So strong S&P 500 is. Crude oil dips for 79.70, so we are below the level of 80 right now into the extremely oversold conditions, and we have another gap. Look at this. Look at this, guys. We got another retail gap, and this gap is, let me just place it somewhere here. All right, something like this. Maybe it's not big. Sorry. One more. There you go. So it looks like we got the gap, and possibly this gap will be filled. Nevertheless, just above the gap there is technical resistance. So very interesting situation here on the crude oil. We will see how this will be played out. Nevertheless, the current situation is that the oil is relatively cheap. The last point, the last level of support here is 76.86. If this is violated, then the market will definitely start a downtrend. Bitcoin hits the extremely overbought conditions at the level of 67,292. So very nice rebound from the lows. And the next target would be this level here, 69,000. That was, yes. So that's the next target for the bulls. As you can see, the pullback is getting stronger for now, and the situation is getting quite interesting on a daily time frame chart. Nice big movement to the upside. Nevertheless, we are still below the level of 50 on daily RSI, so we might see this test of the 69,000-70,000 area as the final one. So please stay focused, stay vigilant. it looks like the bulls are temporarily in charge of the Bitcoin market, and higher prices might be seen very, very soon. That's everything from me for today. Thank you very much for watching this analysis, and I hope I see you guys next time. So take care and bye bye.